Whenever you get that little thought in your head of, oh, I'll just make that myself, you're either about to be a genius or you're about to waste so much time and money, and there's never an in-between. So today is going to be the start of a really big and important project to me, because today I'm going to be starting the first project in creating my dream crafting room, workshop, studio, all those things at once. And also, as some of you might know from my last video, or if not, you can just kind of look at the background, I have moved. I am now in my first ever apartment that I have all to myself, meaning I have completely free reign on however I want to decorate it. Only limited by my budget and needing to be renter friendly. And while I have so many ideas on how I want to decorate each area of the apartment, right now the most important one for me to figure out is this room, which right now is just kind of a mismatch of furniture that I don't know what to do with. Now, obviously getting a crafting room is important to me for like a couple of reasons. One, I love making stuff and I don't really have a good space to do that right now. Like I was trying to do some last minute projects before I left for Bicolin, and it got so messy so quick because I didn't have anywhere to put like any of my supplies. But also I needed to be like nice and aesthetic, not only for my own pleasure, but also like it's part of my job. I make crafting YouTube videos. Having a nice background adds to the quality of the video. This is actually for you guys. I mean, I'm the one that gets to like live in it and stuff like that, but like, no, it's for you. And when I was coming up with the idea and style of what I wanted this room to look like, the one thing that I knew that I wanted to try and add is to take one of these boring walls and try and turn it into an exposed brick accent wall. I just absolutely love the way that exposed brick looks. It gives it such character, and it can either make it feel like a little bit vintage or industrial, depending on the way that you decorate it. The only problem is that those peel and stick tiles that I always see on TikTok are actually quite expensive.
Oh, this looks like a nice peel and stick tile. How much does it cost? Okay, $250 for only 14 square feet? Are you kidding me? The only option that I could find that was semi-realistic and affordable were the wall panels from Home Depot. The only problem is that has apparently been out of stock for months, which, you know, I probably should have looked up before I went to Home Depot with the intention of buying it, which, you know, my bad, I guess. After buying a plant, so at least my visit wasn't a complete waste, I then went to another place to look for supplies, the Dollar Tree. Ironically, the dollar part is being blocked by a tree, but it says Dollar Tree, where I was able to pick up some foam board for, you guessed it, $1.25, because, you know, inflation. Because I was formulating a new plan.
Like, theoretically, these boards are just textured foam with some color on it to make it look like brick. How hard could it be to take some Dollar Tree foam board, cut out some bricks, give it a nice paint job, some texture, glue it to a board, and hang it on the wall? Like, yeah, it is going to be a lot more work making it from scratch, but if it does work out with a bunch of Dollar Tree materials, I'm going to save so much money and get the wall that I want. But now I just need a plan how I'm going to do this. Man, if only there was a tool that I could use to quickly organize all my ideas, resources in a creative visual way. Oh yeah, there is. I've already been using it to organize this entire project so far. And wow, what a weird coincidence. They're also the sponsor of today's video. That's right, let me tell you about Milanote. You have heard me say time and time again that I use Milanote for basically every single creative project that I do, and I still truly mean that. Even for my own personal projects that don't get put on camera at all. I even used to use it at like my old graphic design job at an agency. It just simply is the best tool that I have found to quickly get all the ideas I have running around in my head and into one visual plan that I can actually get started on. Like, even if Milanote wasn't sponsoring this video, I 100% would have planned this in Milanote anyway. To show you why, let me break down how I have been using it to plan out this very project. So when you first get started in Milanote, you have the option of either making your own board completely from scratch or using one of their pre-made templates. And the range of project templates that they have is actually kind of insane. Like, it's kind of hard to find something not on this list. Since making my crafting room is going to be a big overall project with like a bunch of smaller ones in between, I'm going to start out with a project plan. And it's here that I start out with the overview, listing out my goals and must-have for this space. I can also make another column where I can keep the the more logistical stuff, like the dimensions of my room, so I can always have them on hand whenever I am planning out anything. The great thing about Milanote is that you can actually make boards within boards, so you can keep everything organized. Like on this board, I am more focused on finding storage solutions and furniture that will fit my space and will be functional. Meanwhile, in this board is actually a collection of all the different inspiration I have of the aesthetic that I want this room to have. That way I don't get mixed up just general inspiration versus things that I actually want to go back and buy. So now that I'm focusing on this new project of making faux tile walls, I can now make another board where I can start collecting the kind of wall textures that I really like. I can make little color swatches and go in with the eyedropper tool so I can visualize what kind of paint colors I will need to buy later. Using their sheets feature, I'm able to keep track of the different supplies as well as quickly add up cost. That way I know I'm not spending too much money on Dollar Tree foam board. And then I like to use the checkbox feature to start figuring out what steps I actually need to take next in order to make this project. Also, you can use the Milanote app to quickly access your boards or add little notes while you're on the go. If you are working on a group project, Milanote makes it easy to invite and collaborate with people in real time. I mean, I've never used this feature because I normally always work on everything alone, but like you might have friends that you make stuff with, hope maybe, I don't know. And one of my absolute favorite things about Milanote is that you can start using it for free with absolutely no time limit. Like this isn't a free trial, you can just keep using it. So if you are interested in checking out Milanote, you can use the link in the description to sign up and start planning your next creative project today. Thank you once again to Milanote for sponsoring this video. Now let's go ahead and get back into project and see if we can turn these foam boards into something pretty cool.
Okay, so I did buy about like 10 pieces of foam board just to like kind of test the idea. And now that I'm like fully committing to it, I need to go buy some more. I think I'm probably going to go to 2 Dollar Trees. Because yesterday there was enough at the location that I went to. I just think that it would be really embarrassing to walk in and buy like 30 pieces of foam board. So I'm gonna split it over 2 locations, maybe even over 2 days. Like, I know the employees probably don't care. They've probably seen way weirder stuff, but for some reason, I can't buy more than 14 boards. I don't even know why 14 boards is my limit. And while theoretically I probably could stick to only Dollar Tree material, I decided to go back to Home Depot and get more spray paint because that's going to be way quicker than trying to mix Dollar Tree paint.
I now have so much foam board. About 10 the first day, and then 12 and 12, so 34 pieces of foam board, and I still don't think it's actually going to be enough. So I've taken the dimension of this wall and put it into Illustrator, and then took the dimension of my foam boards and kind of copy it and paste them to see how many it's going to take to actually fill this entire wall. It's looking like I'm going to need almost 24, like 24 and a little cut off at the end, and then I'm going to need boards to cut brick out of as well. Technically speaking, there was definitely places that I could have bought way bigger sizes of board, so I didn't have to buy as many. I saw at Office Depot that I could get one for, I think it was 40 by 60, which is like 4 times the size of this, but those were selling for $20 versus 4 of these for $5 for the same amount of foam. I'm not going to go and spend 4 times the amount of money for one big foam board when I can have these. Like, come on, in this economy? The height of these boards actually work out pretty well because it should be, like if we line this up with the base, 1, 2, 3. Is it actually a little bit taller? Wait. Okay, so I have a little bit of a gap at the bottom, which I'll have to fix, but you know, that'll be fine. Alright, so let me talk about how I'm actually planning on making all these bricks, because obviously that's going to be the most time-consuming part of if you did want to do this project. Like, to fill this entire wall with like these rectangle bricks, it's probably going to be 200, 300 maybe, I'm just guessing. Now theoretically, all these bricks could be cut out by hand with just simply a box cutter and lots of patience. Like, it might actually be therapeutic to do that. Sitting down on a nice Friday night and just cutting out foam bricks while watching like probably the entirety of Lord of the Rings. and then also the same thing the next day and maybe the next day after that because it's going to still take a while. I instead am going to try and use my fancy schmancy laser cutter. This is probably going to be the only way that I can accomplish this project in the timeline that I have given myself, which isn't a lot. If I'm being honest, but you know, we thrive under pressure here. And I'm going to figure out the settings to cut this without it setting on fire because, you know, starting a fire is probably not too renter friendly.
Okay, I say this like every time I use this, but like especially this one, I don't want it to come across as, here's a fun dollar store DIY hack. You just need a few supplies and a laser cutter. Like box cutter would get the job done. Or if you did want a tool that wasn't as extravagant as this, there's also like foam hot wire things that you can get for way cheaper.
I went ahead in Illustrator and already made the vector for the size of the bricks that I want to 1/4 of the foam board that fits inside the laser cutter. Same exact settings, some of the cuts perfect, some of them is caught a little bit on fire, but they are cut through and I was able to quickly make 6 bricks. Also, I did kind of forget that I have the window slightly open in order to like ventilate, meaning that I probably shouldn't be yelling too loudly, oh God, why does it keep catching on fire? Just in general, and also I don't want my neighbors to worry. Also, speaking of getting used to apartment living and not wanting to disturb my neighbors, unfortunately, this is the only room in the apartment that has a shared wall, which isn't ideal for this kind of space. And it's not even so much of the fact of like, oh, I don't want to hear them while I'm filming, which like I don't. What I care about a little bit more is the fact that I would be absolutely mortified of the idea of them sitting down at their little breakfast nook and then hearing,
what up guys, welcome to another video.
But so far, it's been like a few weeks since I've started living here and I haven't really heard anything from them. So I'm hoping that everything is okay. I mean, that was definitely one of the driving factors to why I wanted my own apartment. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved my old roommates so much. They're still like some of my best friends. But it was always so embarrassing to film while they were home because I knew that they could definitely hear whatever I was saying. Knowing that they could like hear all the mistakes that I definitely edit out and like repeating the same sentence over and over and over again to make the illusion that I actually know how to talk in a full sentence when talking to a camera. So I would basically plan my like filming and creation schedule around when I knew that they weren't going to be home. They never complained about it or asked me to do that. It was more just for like my own personal embarrassment. I'm just going to follow the general courtesy of like not making too much noise past like 10 o'clock at night or something. And hopefully I don't disturb my neighbors. I mean, theoretically they could be listening to this entire conversation right now and finding it very amusing. I don't know.
After a few tries of fine-tuning the settings, I was able to get quite the cycle going down, peel the top layer of the foam board, hand cut it down into quarters, align it in the cutter, and then process the cut again. I got to the point with load and cut time that it was about 8 bricks per minute, which is a pretty good pace for this.
I was able to make a total of 300 bricks, which I didn't plan to come out to that even of a number, but it's nice that it happened. 300 bricks. 300 bricks of foam board for me. I definitely doubt that this is enough to cover the entire wall, but we're at least going to start with this and I can go out and buy more foam board and cut more out later. Now, I think I am going to do something a little bit different with this project. Normally when I work on projects, I do it very like step by step in the process. But with the nature of this project specifically, I think it would be a good idea to try and take 1 or 2 panels and try assembling, texturing, painting, and basically take these to the final product. Because the scale of this project, I think it would be smart to make sure that it works on one small section before just doing everything and realizing that it looks bad at the end. Because overall, I am pretty confident that I would be able to make a realistic looking brick texture with the materials that I have, but you know, just in case, I should try it out beforehand. What I'm going to do now is try and figure out how many bricks I'm going to need for this one section. I'm going to take one of the bricks and start outlining the placement of each of them to get a general estimate. Just to make things easier, I cut out a little wooden guide to help me place it. I'm aiming to have the spacing being 1/2 inch on the sides and on the top. So this row I can fit a full 5, and then this one is like 5.5. Okay, that's easy math. 55 bricks. Now, to texture foam to look like brick is actually super, super easy because all you need is some aluminum foil. Crumple it up like that, and then we just, and there we go. Mama.
No! Okay, yeah, I could have foreseen that.
And to try and make this go faster, I'm going to see if I can take this lint roller and cover it in aluminum so I can just roll it real fast. Ingenuity here. Texture roller, let's see if it works. Oh, we're going to be so speedy. I'm going to take this thing to Shark Tank, let's go. Hi sharks, I'm Jess Less. Have you ever wanted to texture foam really quickly? Well, boy oh boy do I have a lint roller and some aluminum foil. That will be $1 million, please. All right, so it is the next day and I now have my textured bricks. Now it's time to start testing out what color we want our bricks to be. I have 4 colors of spray paint that I think will match together into a good brick wall. I do need to figure out is what I want the ratio of the brick colors to be. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting. Oh, it's immediately starting to rain as soon as I walk out here. No, no.
Oh no! Condensation! Emma! Oh no! Clear!
Guys, the lens already fogging up. Gosh darn it. I definitely like this color the best. Like, I feel like that's going to be the main one. This one was weird. It was like a multicolored textured one, which I think is also melting the foam. I feel like this one is just a little bit too different. But I did try like mixing the 2 of these. That ended up with some interesting brick colors. So yeah, French truffle is going to be the main color with London gray and a tiny bit of nutmeg. Oh, whoops. That's already not great for a security deposit. I will fix that later. Terrible time to go and spray paint on my part. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with how these colors are already looking. But I really want to get to gluing down these bricks and start to see how it's actually going to look. And to start assembly, going to keep it pretty simple with just a gallon of Elmer's glue, a brush, and I'm just going to start putting these bad boys down. Wow, I'm actually shocked how well this is like already looking. Like these colors are working pretty well. Okay, I think everything is dry enough for me to, look at that. It's looking like wall to me. Okay, now to add some weathering. I was actually able to find some light neutral colors I think will work really well for this. It's just the cheap Apple Barn Walmart paint. But for these purposes, I think it actually might be perfect. Dip it in a little paint, get rid of most of the paint.
Admittedly, I probably went a little heavy-handed with the dry brushing, but this is supposed to be a very weathered wall, and since I was going to skip adding shadows, I was okay with heavy highlights. Last effect to make this look like an actual brick wall is to just fill in that grout, which I have my secret recipe of Mod Podge, paint, and baking soda. I'm not really using a ratio, I'm mostly just mixing it together to get my desired color, and keep on adding baking soda until it becomes a very thick, sludge, gritty texture. That way I can pretty much just scoop and dab on this mixture to get that gritty effect of the grout, while also intentionally going over the lines to give the same effect of like a messy wall. even going in afterwards with a bigger brush to just add more rough texture.
The amount of serotonin I'm getting from fake brick paneling is questionable, but I don't care. Look at this. That extra color and texture from the grout actually helped so much. Like, look at that. That looks like a brick wall to me right there. Especially for the cost of it being only like $7 worth of material. That's pretty good. The thing that is kind of concerning though is the fact that it's been a few hours. I didn't time how long it took me to do the texturing, gluing, painting, finishing touches, but it is kind of getting to the end of day 2, and this is only 1/12 of the wall. I might need to reconsider the scope of this project, because doing the entire wall in the time frame that I have given myself may not be physically possible. Because even when looking back, and like a good amount of the time that I have spent on this project so far has been kind of figuring out the process, and also sitting down and recording and talking to the camera also takes a bit of time as well.
But even if I dedicated all my time to just making bricks and gluing it down, doing the full wall would just still be too much.
So I think I need to come up with some solutions of how I can get away with only doing half a wall. Maybe one of the solutions is like cutting the edge to make it look like one of those walls that kind of like blend into like half exposed, half painted. Or what I can maybe do is go like the fake wood beam route and make like a wood beam out of XPF foam real quick. That can be the transition from the brick wall to the regular wall. Or maybe I could just put a bookshelf where the line would be and hope that no one notices. You know, funny enough, when I was like planning out this video, I was originally thinking I was going to be able to do like the entire craft room in one video. And it has now turned to maybe one half of one wall as a full video. Hopefully this is exciting wall content. Subscribe for more. I mean, seriously, if you got to this point in the video and you're enjoying like DIY stuff, please do to consider subscribing. I never do this in the middle of a video, but hey, why not? I've already gone on this segue, so.
So the next day, I pretty much committed to basically being a cozy craft day, where my only goal today was just to make as much progress as possible, mostly just time lapses, not stopping and talking to the camera at all, just bricks, bricks, and more bricks.
So who knew that making, painting, and gluing down hundreds of bricks would take a long time? I mean, when you put it like that, probably most people. Not me, apparently. Yesterday, I was able to take all the bricks I made, texture them, and spray paint them, which that part, honestly, didn't take too long. Maybe like 2 hours or so. But the thing that really ended up taking a long time was actually gluing it down to the board. Yesterday, I was able to get through 3 30 by 40 panels. So my original plan of doing the entire wall was absolutely delusional, which maybe is fine. I think maybe having the brick all the way across would have maybe been a little bit too much anyway. I was playing around with it in what I've been using to kind of like picture this room, The Sims 4. Yes, a very professional design program, I'm aware. And like having that little foam beam there and maybe transitioning to the other half of the wall being dark navy blue peel and stick wallpaper, which I probably won't be doing in this video, but probably the next one because there's so much more of this room that I have to figure out. But for now, I still have 2 more of these panels that I need to make. So that means more gluing. Yay!
I guess the good and bad thing about this entire project is that there's no really like complicated steps. It's just all very tedious and repetitive. Which on the bright side means that I can just zone out and listen to podcasts while I do it. Or, you know, jam out to sea shanties. it just gets a little dull, and that's why I tend to lean towards projects where you kind of have to like change different mindsets to do different parts of it, and not just the same thing over and over and over and over and again.
Okay, only one last step before I can finally put these stupid pieces of foam on my stupid wall, and that is to make my Mod Podge paint the baking soda sludge and fill in the gaps. Today I'm finally getting my gosh darn wall. I don't care if it's ugly or it starts to fall apart, something is going on this wall. Now you're probably wondering, Jess, what renter-friendly way are you going to use to attach these big foam boards to the wall? Are you going to use like a ton of command strips or... Now I know some people might not think that drilling holes into a wall is renter friendly, which, you know, legally by the lease, it's not. But in my opinion, as long as you can fix it before you leave, that's renter friendly, baby. Like I did this at my last place, it's really easy to just spackle over, sand, and get some touch-up paint to fix it, and you get your deposit back. Slightly too big. Okay, let's remeasure. Okay, definitely not clean, but you know, it's cut. Maybe it'll fit now. Okay, yes. Yes, it fits. Okay. Okay, it's on the wall. After all that work, all that time, I can finally step back, look at it, and realize it's only kind of mid. Like it's not the worst. I guess to be fair, there's still like a lot of work I need to do. Like make the little foam beam to like hide that edge. Also lots of like little touch-ups that I need to do, and also paint over and hide where all of the nails in the wall are. Also, I didn't notice it beforehand, but I think the grout in this quarter is like way lighter than the rest of it. And I like the look of this one. So now I want to retouch up all of it, which would take forever. I guess before I get like too negative, let me bring in some like furniture, shelves, lights, drapes, see if I can like zhuzh it up and decorate it a little bit and see how it looks more in the background and not just like by itself. Okay, I will admit, dressing it up a little bit, getting decorations, kind of getting a more idea of the vibe of it, it is growing on me. But also, to be fair, if you add string lights and plants to anything, it's going to look better. And also, this isn't like the final setup by any means. I'm just kind of like throwing some stuff of like a similar idea of what I have in mind. But I will say, in context, is definitely not as bad as I first thought it was. It's actually kind of nice now. That still being said, I don't think I would ever do this again. I mean, yes, the price for the square footage that you get is probably really good. I don't know off the top of my head, but future me would do the calculations and put it here. Wow, crazy. But considering all the like time and hassle over the last like 5 days, when there's also so much more I should be focusing on instead of decorative wall in the corner when I don't have like any of the other workspaces or storage set up and my apartment is a mess, probably should have maybe just gone with the brick wallpaper instead. Like it's a background thing. It probably would have been fine. But I'm curious, what do y'all think? Does it look like way better on camera and y'all are like, what what are you talking about? It looks fine. Is this ever a project you would consider doing? And if so, would you use different materials or different methods to make your own? And I do promise that more regular crafting projects are coming very soon. If you so happen to stumble upon this channel and made it to this point in the video, you probably would like some of my other videos and maybe would consider subscribing and sticking around for a little bit. And of course, thank you to these lovely Patreon subscribers for helping support me through the weird transition time right now. I cannot say how grateful I am for it. I know I've kind of been slacking on that, so the fact that y'all have stuck around is so nice. I promise I have content that I'm going to put on there eventually. Alright, as always, I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye!